were more prevalent when there was more of a physical SIM card. It was a lot easier to clone and so forth. It has now been something that is attacking a lot of eSIM individuals as well, individuals that have eSIMs on their cell phones. And it's interesting because it's doing it through a different type of attack. Previously, you could probably in fact, you could do a lot of SIM cloning just if you left your phone alone too long, right? Or if somebody took your phone when you weren't looking and they could clone the physical SIM card. Now, the attackers have started to use a different way. And this is by using information that they find through data breaches and identity theft of you specifically. And they'll take that information and pretend to be you when they're calling the carrier. They'll then have the carrier activate another phone with your information on it, and it will go to you. So it's exploiting this kind of weak link in that the carriers, surprisingly now, are the weak links in this instance, right? Where they're calling the carriers, pretending. There's an impressive social engineering feat, but there's not much that when all your data is stolen, there's not much that the carriers can do to really ascertain if this is you or not when you're being attacked. So it's really kind of a difficult process, and it becomes more threatening for you as an individual, because if you have a cloned phone out there of your phone, think of all the different ways you log into your other systems, right? Your multi-factor authentication capabilities. A lot of times that's sent via text. And if these texts are going to other people who have your text information, well, it can be a bit of a concern. Let's put it that way. But let's talk about different ways that you can kind of prevent it, because there are different things that you can do in order to ensure that you are a bit more secure. And I want to pick the brain from both of you guys first. What are things that people can do to ensure that, these universal keys to their lives are not being taken advantage of, that people aren't stealing these phones?
Dustin, sorry, Frank, I went digging for a SIM card too. Did you find one? I couldn't find one.
I didn't find one, but I was pulling my phone apart and I'm like, this is like the original.
Yeah, and that's where they used to go.
I did the same thing. Oh, that's where they used to go. That big old slot right there.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So I say, this brought up a question in my head, Frank, actually, because with our credit reports and credit scores, right, you can lock those, right? Or you can do credit monitoring, right? But as far as I know, nothing exists for your cell phone, in terms of that account through T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, or whatever, right? So there's nothing there. You can just go flip a switch. I wish there was. Somebody should probably go do that. But in my mind, I'm a bit of a super nerd, right? So I tend to keep an eye on a lot of accounts that I have, right? I'm looking for activity. Even when I'm going through my email, if I see AT&T is my carrier, right? So if they were to access it through AT&T, I think I would find out through an email, which is not exactly the greatest way to do it, right? To be alerted to something like that. But I tend to keep an eye on that thing. Also, keeping a hold of your phone. Actually, while you were doing all that, Frank, I went and looked on my iPhone.
All that being explaining?
Yeah. Well, I was because I was thinking maybe we should show what eSIM looks like, right?
Right.
But when I went,
I'm not showing them mine.
Yeah, there's a lot of information in here, right? That you don't want to. It's almost like you don't put a picture of a key on the internet.